There we go. That's it. Welcome back to Spillane Field, bottom of the first inning here as the Wareham Gatemen take on the Brewster Whitecaps. No score between the Gatemen and the Whitecaps thus far after a 1-2-3 top of the first inning from Easton Lucas. JD Rachi here with you on Wareham Community Television to bring you this East and West Division matchup as the Gatemen trying to rally come back from a 2-game losing streak after losing a really tough one against Orleans yesterday out on the East Cape. On the mound today for the Brewster Whitecaps is the left-hander from Kentucky, Zach Thompson. Thompson didn't have a fantastic season this year for the Wildcats, but he is considered as one of the top prospects in the entire country for the MLB draft next season, the #1 prospect in the SEC according to Baseball America. First pitch from the left-hander to Jeremy Idens, misses outside, and it's 1-0. This season for Thompson, 4.94 ERA, just 9 games pitched though, 24 hits, 17 earned runs against him, 20 walks and 42 strikeouts, but this is where the stuff comes into play. 212 batting average against, he's got a great fastball, a filthy curveball, and he plays with a mean streak on the mound. 1-1 fouled off, and it's now 1-2 to Idens, hitting .471 through his first 4 or so games with the Gatemen this year. 3 doubles, 4 RBIs for the UCLA Bruin, who has gotten off to hot starts at his games at Spillane. 2 games he's played here, he's doubled in his first at-bat. This one roped on a line to shortstop, and making the play is Cameron Eden, the Cal Golden Bear, and there's 1 out for Sahid Valenzuela. So not exactly what we're used to seeing from Jeremy Idens to lead off the game here at Spillane, but now Sahid Valenzuela, the switch-hitting second baseman, strides in from Cal State Fullerton. Made his debut with the Gatemen yesterday and had himself a pretty good day in what was a largely not great day for the Gatemen. 2 for 4 was Valenzuela. This one swung on and clobbered high and deep to left field at the track, at the wall, and it's gone! Welcome to Spillane Field, Sahid Valenzuela. First pitch he sees in Wareham, and he takes it yard. It's a 1-0 Gateman lead. Boy, that was an absolute rocket right off the bat. You knew it had a chance, and it was a line drive over the left field fence, the smallest part of the park, but it got out nonetheless. And Sahid Valenzuela has given the Gatemen a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first. And now another home run threat comes to the plate, and Andrew Vaughn, one of 3 Team USA members, heading off to the collegiate national team come Monday. 1-0 to him, misses low, and it's 2-0. Zach Thompson will also be heading off to the collegiate national team, the left-hander on the mound for Brewster. So these guys facing off right now will be teammates in the next couple of days. Vaughn at .302 this season, 3 doubles, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, and 6 runs scored. This one skied down the right field line, twisting into foul territory, and it will get out of play. So Vaughn swinging away on 2-0, and why not? It's your last home game here at Spillane. One of your last 3 games in a Gatemen uniform, with the doubleheader coming up at YD at Red Wilson Field tomorrow. The 2-1. Swung on, slapped into the 5.5 hole, under the diving glove of the third baseman, Lively. But the play from the shortstop, Cameron Eden, gets Andrew Vaughn at first. A nice defensive play from Cameron Eden, his Cal Golden Bear teammate. So one Golden Bear grounds out to the other, and there's 2 outs for Bryant Packard. Bryant Packard, the left-handed hitting left fielder, strides in now from ECU. Had himself a great day yesterday. Only he and Valenzuela were the only ones to pick up multiple hits in that game. He went 2 for 3 with a double and a triple. And really, at any other park, aside from Eldridge Park, which is 434 feet to straightaway center, any other park, it was a home run for Packard, but just a little too deep at Eldridge. And he ended up with a triple. Packard, originally a part of Team USA as an alternate, won't be heading off with Stott, Fioli, and Andrew Vaughn. Has had himself a pretty good season, though. 281, 2 doubles, a triple, and 2 RBIs. Only thing that hasn't gone well for Packard, 10 strikeouts this year. 2-1 outside, and it's 3-1. Three and 1 the count, 2 outs to the left-handed hitting Bryant Packard. The left-hander Zach Thompson on the mound, the pitch. Waved on and missed. Good fastball that time from the left-hander Thompson, and it's a full count at 3-2. Payoff pitch. Outside, misses the strike zone, and Bryant Packard draws a 2-out walk. There's a runner on at first for Bryson Stott. Bryson Stott, the left-handed hitting shortstop, hitting .313 this season on the Cape, a double, 7 walks, 7 runs, 3 RBIs for him. The on-base percentage, one of the best in the league. Great eye up at the plate, dealing with a lefty-lefty matchup here. The first pitch to him is a called strike on the outer half, 0-1. Stott, Vaughn, and Mason Fioli honored before the game here at Spillane Field, presented with bats as congratulations for heading off to Team USA in a couple of days. A 1 outside, and it's 1-1. Ball and a strike from the left-hander Thompson. Here's the pitch. Misses low, and it's 2-1. And it's a little bit surprising, maybe not surprising, but impressive that Thompson has found his way to the Cape League. He was incredibly highly touted coming out of high school. An 11th round pick of the Rays in 2016. A lot of guys would opt to go to the majors straight away if you're a top 13 round or so pick. But Thompson heading to Kentucky, had himself a great freshman year with a 3.45 ERA. Freshman All-American by 3 different publications. But he's now put himself in position to, as some believe, possibly be a top 10 pick in the next 2 years. 2-2 from the left-hander to Stott. It misses low, and it's full count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. On all the roster bios for the Kentucky Wildcats, their manager, or their head coach, I should say, has a little tidbit written about them, has a quote from him about what he thinks about their guys. He said, electric fastball, filthy curveball. And there's the electric fastball, swung on and missed, outer half from Bryson Stott, and the side is retired. Zach Thompson uncharacteristically struggling in the first inning. He gives up a 1-run homer. Zahid Valenzuela leaves the yard, and the first pitch he sees at Spillane Field. We're headed to the top of the second inning. 1-0 Gatemen on WCTV. Top of the second inning from Spillane Field, 1-0 the lead for the Wareham Gatemen after a Zahid Valenzuela solo homer back in the bottom of the first, and after a 1-2-3 inning in the top half of the first, Easton Lucas back to the mound for the Gatemen. He'll deal with 4, 5, 6, and the first batter he'll face in this half inning will be Connor Grammis, the DH from Xavier. First pitch to Grammis is swung on, hit on the screws right to the shortstop Stott. His throw is in plenty of time for the first out of the inning. 1 pitch, 1 out for Lucas. That's the kind of efficiency you want to see from a starter if you're Don Snedden. And now Hunter Bishop, the left-handed hitting right fielder from Arizona State, will stride in to face Lucas. Bishop hitting 167 this season on the Cape. A double, 3 RBIs, but the strikeout numbers are incredibly high. 15 strikeouts this year. First pitch misses low on the breaking ball from the left-hander Lucas. It's 1-0. Numbers at ASU this season for Bishop, not much better. Just .250 and 50 strikeouts in 49 games. Struck out over once per game. 5 doubles, a triple, and 5 home runs, so the slugging percentage wasn't terrible at .407. But the average not where he wants it to be. Especially after he hit .301 as a freshman and was honorable mention All Pac-12 last year. Really struggled this season at Arizona State, and I talked to the Brewster broadcasters Jack McMullen and Tim Leonard, and they said he has struggled mightily this season for Brewster. That should continue here. Popped up high into the sky, and Zahid Valenzuela makes the catch on the left side for the second out of the inning. Joe Donovan, the catcher from Michigan, stepping in now. Brewster with a 5-4 win over the Katuitt Kettleers last night, down by 1 heading into the bottom of the ninth at Stony Brook. And Joe Donovan ended up delivering a walk-off sac fly to win it for Brewster, giving them their 4th win of the season. They sit at 4-6 coming into today. First pitch from Lucas to Donovan misses up near the eyeballs, 1-0. Donovan, .357 this season on the Cape, 4 RBIs, 4 walks for him. One of 4 Michigan Wolverines on this roster. Popped up back. Millis gives it a look, but it's going to get out of play. 2 pitchers, 2 position players for the Wolverines on this Brewster roster. The Gatemen, of course, also with Michigan Wolverine on their roster, Dominic Clemente, the right fielder from Michigan. So a couple of teammates will certainly see each other this evening if they haven't already. 1-1 the count to Donovan, and the fact that Donovan is hitting over .350 this season on the Cape, very impressive considering he hit just .250 in his freshman year at Michigan this season. Granted, he only played 14 games, so those numbers a little bit skewed, but he's at .357 as we mentioned, a fantastic number so far for Donovan. This one skied out into fairly medium depth center field. Skylar Hunter back on it and makes the easy play for the final out of the inning. 6 up, 6 down. Easton Lucas looking good on the mound for the Gatemen. 1-0 the Wareham lead as we head to the bottom of the second. Gatemen trying to add to it coming up on WCTV. One to nothing, the Gatemen lead in the bottom of the second inning here at Spillane Field. Saheed Valenzuela with a solo bomb off of left-hander Zach Thompson back in the first. Thompson back to the mound for a second inning of work here for the Brewster Whitecaps, and it'll be Parker Phillips, the designated hitter from Austin Peay, to go up against him to lead off this inning for Wareham. First pitch to Phillips misses down below his knees for a ball, and it's 1-0. Phillips hitting just 190 for the Gatemen this season, a double and 3 RBIs. Was pretty much the everyday DH to start the year. He's kind of fallen out of the lineup, in and out of the lineup of late. But he definitely has the talent to stay in the lineup. 1-1 to him. Called strikeout or half, 1-2. This season at Austin Peay was a big one for him. Hit .331 and had 18 home runs. 1-2. This is inside, and it's 2-2. Phillips headed off around sometime next weekend. He'll participate in the NCAA Home Run Derby at the College World Series in Omaha. As we mentioned, 18 home runs this season, 5th most in the country. So he will try to put on a show at TD Ameritrade Park, and then he'll come back to the Gatemen after that home run derby experience. 2-2 the count to him here as he tries to break himself out of a little bit of a slump. Just finished up his redshirt sophomore season at Austin Peay from Collierville, Tennessee, in Collierville High School. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count from the left-hander Thompson. The pitch to Phillips is waved on and missed. Nasty fastball on the inner half from Thompson. Back-to-back strikeouts for the left-hander dating back to last inning. And there's one gone for Ryan Kreidler. Kreidler, the third baseman from UCLA, gotten off to a hot start in his first 2 games with the Gatemen. He's 4 for 7, a double, 3 RBIs, and 3 runs scored. First game at Spillane Field, his debut game. He went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs. A good pick from the shortstop that time, Cameron Eden, and a jumping throw gets Kreidler. Nice play from Cameron Eden out there at short. That's the second time we've seen him come up big defensively for Brewster. And now there's 2 gone for Drew Millis. Millis, the switch-hitting catcher from Missouri State, will bat right here against the left-hander Thompson. He's at .235 this year with Wareham. 4 walks, everything else singles. No extra base hits for him as of yet. It's the only Gateman in today's lineup who has yet to collect an extra base hit. Valenzuela also did not have an extra base hit coming into today. Well, he got done with that notion right away in the first pitch he saw. A solo bomb is the difference thus far. 1-0 Gatemen here in the bottom of the second inning. Rocketed right at third base. Nice glove from Austin Lively. Drew Millis, if he had hit it just about anywhere else in the infield, it would have been at least a single for him. But nonetheless, it's in the glove of Lively for the third out of the inning. Gatemen go 1-2-3 in the bottom of the second. We're headed to the top of the third with Brewster trying to come back down 1-0 here on WCTV. Top of the third inning from Spillane Field, 1-0 the lead for the Wareham Gatemen over the Brewster Whitecaps. And thus far, it's been a very impressive outing for the left-hander from Pepperdine, Easton Lucas. He's faced the minimum through 2, 3 up, 3 down in both the first and the second. Now he'll deal with 7, 8, 9 for Brewster here in the third. First pitch to Dominic Canzone, I should say, from Ohio State, swung on and missed. It's 0-1. Canzone 1 for 8 this year in 2 games with the Brewster Whitecaps. Had a really nice season this year for the Buckeyes. .323 in 60 games, 83 hits, 18 doubles, a triple, and 4 home runs. All Big Ten second team for him. 0-2 swung on and missed, dropped third strike, but the tag is applied. Now the third strikeout of the day for Easton Lucas. All 3 have been on pitches in the dirt. Canzone is down on strikes, Easton Lucas has been excellent. And there's 1 gone for Cameron Eden. Eden, the right-handed hitting shortstop from Cal Berkeley, has made a couple of nice defensive plays tonight for the Whitecaps. Let's see what he can do in the batter's box. First pitch to him, called strikeout or half, 0-1. .247 this season for Eden at Cal. pitch in the dirt. 38 hits, 7 doubles, 21 RBIs, 20 runs, 15 walks, and 37 strikeouts for him. Those numbers not where he wants them to be, especially considering he hit .315 last season with 6 home runs as a freshman. Sophomore slump was definitely a thing this year for Eden. This one skied into shallow center field. Skylar Hunter calls everybody off and makes the play for out number 2. Easton Lucas continues to roll here at Spillane. He's seen 8 batters and put all of them down. And now Chris Wright, the left-handed hitting first baseman from Bryant, strides in. Not very often you see a first baseman batting 9th in the order, but Brewster has struggled offensively this year, and their head coach Jamie Shevchuk just trying to mix things up here, see what he can do with his lineup. As we mentioned, they're 4-6 on the season. One of the bottom teams in the East Division. 1-0 called strike, 1-1. This year for Wright, though, at Bryant was really nice. .313, 52 games, 10 doubles and 5 home runs, so 15 extra base hits for him. He was second team All-Northeast Conference. 1-1 roped into right center field, but Skylar Hunter has a beat on it all the way. It makes the play for the final out of the inning. One time through the order, and Easton Lucas has had absolutely no problems with the Brewster Whitecaps. It's a 1-0 lead for the Wareham Gatemen here on WCTV. Bottom of the third coming next. Gatemen trying to add to a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the third inning from Spillane Field. J.D. Rachi bringing you this matchup between the Gatemen and the Brewster Whitecaps here on Wareham Community Television. Skylar Hunter will lead it off, the switch-hitting center fielder, the only batter not to face the left-hander Zach Thompson today for the Gatemen. First pitch to him, fastball rides up and in, and it's 1-0. That fastball from Thompson sits in the mid-90s, so that pitch coming up near the head of Hunter, definitely a scary moment. Hunter this season 150 with a double and 6 RBIs. He struggled a bit at the plate, but he's also had the most at-bats of any Gateman this year. Had a nice day yesterday, tied the game up in the late innings at 3 with an RBI double, or really got the rally started, The Gatemen were down 3-1. Got the rally started, RBI double for him, before Luke Roscom tied it up with an RBI ground out. But then things fell apart for the Gatemen. This one skied out into right field. The right fielder coming in to make the play is Hunter Bishop. Nice catch on the run as it floated out toward the foul line. And there's one gone for the top of the order and Jeremy Idens. Seventh inning for the Gatemen was nothing short of disastrous. Tyler Kaiser records 2 outs, and the 3 batters he faced also gave up a double. So he had 1 runner on, and Lyle Lockhart, the left-handed pitcher from Houston, came in to pitch, and things went downhill from there. Ended up hanging a 5 spot on the Gatemen. The Firebirds did in the inning, all with 2 outs. That was the unraveling point in yesterday's 10-3 loss for Wareham, trying to snap a 2-game skid here tonight against Brewster. Jeremy Eden's on the ground to the shortstop. Eden, he comes up throwing, pulls the first baseman off the bag, but a swipe tag on the way through from Chris Wright. Nice play from the Bryant first baseman, and there's 2 outs. Score that one 6-3 on the tag from Chris Wright. Saved Cam Eden from making an error, or from committing an error. And now Sahid Valenzuela is back to the plate. He's seen 1 pitch from Thompson today. Took him yard over the left field fence. First pitch from Thompson to Valenzuela this time. This is up near the eyeballs, and it's 1-0. The count, 2 outs. Bottom of the 3rd inning. 1-0 the lead for the Gatemen. Valenzuela, a little bit of a down year, at least from his freshman numbers. Hit .270 this year with Cal State Fullerton as they made it all the way to the NCAA Super Regionals. Hosted a regional out in Fullerton before falling to the Washington Huskies. But that .270 batting average, although it was okay, .315 in his freshman year. First team All-Big West and Big West Freshman of the Year for the middle infielder out of Yuma, Arizona. Taking a well all the way on 3-0, and it's 3-1. Played just about every position you can in high school at St. Francis High. Shortstop, second baseman, third baseman, center fielder. This one he sends down the left field line and into left field for a base hit. Valenzuela moving into second on a slide, and it's a 2-out double for Sahid Valenzuela. Back-to-back extra base hits for him here for the Gatemen. And now it's a runner on at second with 2 outs for the dangerous Andrew Vaughn. So Sahid Valenzuela now 4 for 6 on the season for the Gatemen. 2 for 4 yesterday, 2 for 2 today. Andrew Vaughn grounded out to shortstop in his first at-bat back in the first inning. Grounded out to his college teammate Cameron Eden. Vaughn, the big right-hander from Cal Berkeley, heading off to Team USA in just a few days. Thompson steps off the mound, looks back at Valenzuela, who does have speed on the base paths at second. First pitch to Vaughn this time around, swung on, hit on a short hop to the third baseman. Throw is high out of the glove of Chris Wright. It's going to roll behind him, and Sahid Valenzuela will score. Moving up to second is Andrew Vaughn, and it's 2-0 Gatemen. Nice pick from Austin Lively at third. Then his throw ran a little bit high, clipped off the glove of Chris Wright. We're going to have to see who the error gets charged to. But Valenzuela goes from second to home and scores. He scored both runs today for the Gatemen, 2-0 Wareham. Bryant Packard, the left-handed hitting left fielder, strides in now to face Thompson. They're going to score that an error against the third baseman Lively. Not sure how much I agree with that. The throw was high, but Wright certainly had a chance to make the play. So E5 against Lively keeps the inning alive and allows Sahid Valenzuela to score. No RBI for Andrew Vaughn because he did reach on in an error. 0-2 now to Bryant Packard. Walked back in the first inning. Andrew Vaughn on at second off the throwing error from the third baseman Austin Lively. Zahid Valenzuela in to score. No balls and 2 strikes, the count from Thompson. Here's the pitch. Swung on, slapped foul again, pretty much in the exact same spot as the last foul ball. And it's still 0-2. Packard, as we mentioned yesterday, had himself a nice day, 2 for 3. A double and a triple for him. No balls and 2 strikes, the count. And here comes the pitch from the left-hander Thompson to the left-hander Packard. Misses low, and it's 1-2 now. 2-0 Gatemen, bottom of the third inning from Spillane. The only game in the Cape Cod Baseball League to go off tonight. All 4 other games have been postponed. 1-2 the count, the pitch. Swung on back into the chain link fence. A big bounce toward the Gatemen dugout. It's still 1-2. All this action for the Gatemen in this half inning has been on a 2-out rally. 2-out double from Zahid Valenzuela. Came around to score on an error off the bat of Andrew Vaughn. Now look back at second, nothing doing. Vaughn on at second after reaching on the error from the third baseman Austin Lively. 1-2 the count, 2 outs to Bryant Packard in the bottom of the third. The pitch home from Thompson. Nasty breaking ball, just missed the inside corner of the plate. The height looked pretty good. Looked at that it was about belt high, but apparently a little bit too far inside for the home plate umpire's liking, and it's now 2-2. Packard does have some power, hit 14 home runs this season for the ECU Pirates. 2-2. Outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes now. So good job from Packard to climb back from 0-2 and get the count all the way to 3 balls and 2 strikes. As we mentioned, Packard's already walked once today in his first plate appearance back in the first inning. Trying to replicate that performance or maybe do something even better here in his second at-bat. 3-2, the payoff pitch in the dirt, and it's another walk to Bryant Packard, his second of the day, and there's runners on first and second with 2 outs for Bryson Stott. Stott 0 for 1 today, struck out swinging back in the first. He and Andrew Vaughn, their final appearances at Spillane Field. In the second to last day, they will be members of the Wareham Gatemen before heading off to Team USA. First pitch from the left-hander Thompson to Stott is sliced foul over Wareham Middle School here, and it's 0-1. Stott led the nation in doubles this season with 30. A dangerous hitter out of UNLV hit .365 for the Runnin' Rebels. 0-1 low, 1-1. There is some action now in the Wareham bullpen, a little bit of long toss, but doesn't look like anything significant, especially since Easton Lucas has been absolutely magnificent through 3 innings. Can't say quite the same here for Zach Thompson. 2 runs, 1 of them earned. 1-1 called strike, 1-2. Two and 2/3 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts for Zach Thompson. And he's still in some trouble here. A ball and 2 strikes to Bryson Stott with 2 outs. Pitch from the left-hander. Is swung on, hit toward the first baseman right. He gloves it with his right hand and touches the bag 3 unassisted for the final out of the inning. But Zahid Valenzuela tacks on to the Wareham lead, coming in to score on an on an error off the hand of Austin Lively, off the bat of Andrew Vaughn. We're headed to the top of the fourth inning. It's 2-0 Wareham on Wareham Community Television. Top of the order for the Brewster Whitecaps here from Spillane Field, trying to come back from a 2-0 deficit to the Wareham Gatemen. Easton Lucas back on the mound, and his first pitch to Austin Lively just misses inside, and it's 1-0. Top of the fourth from Spillane, only game going on in the league today. 1-0 outside, 2-0. Lucas has faced the minimum 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3 through his first 3 innings. Lively 0 for 1 today, as are the rest of his teammates. Grounded out to Valenzuela back in the first. This one roped into fairly deep left center field, and on the run, Skylar Hunter makes a nifty play. And there's one out for Ray Alejo. Really nice play there from Skylar Hunter. He's had a pretty busy day today. His 4th put out of the day. And there's one out for Ray Alejo, who's 0 for 1 today, struck out swinging back in the first. Alejo making his CCBL debut today. First pitch to him outside, 1-0. Out of UCF, 34 stolen bases this season for him, has excellent speed on the base paths. And now he's got a base hit into center field, rounding first, headed for second. Big throw coming in from Idens, not nearly going to be in time, and Alejo is in with a double for the first hit of the day for the Brewster Whitecaps. We mentioned the speed. Not many times you're going to see that ball get in for a double, but with Ray Alejo on the base paths, pretty much anything is possible. We'll have to see if they have him moving here. Mike Massey, the left-handed hitting second baseman from Illinois, strides in. Struck out swinging back in the first inning against Easton Lucas, but coming into the game is hitting .444 this year. First pitch to him is swung on, roped into right field, and down for a base hit. Alejo looking around third, throw in from Idens over the head. Easton Lucas wasn't back there to back it up, and Alejo will come in to score. So a high throw off a bounce from Jeremy Idens. The grass is wet here. Up to second base goes Mike Massey. We'll have to see whether they score that a single and advance on the throw, or an RBI double, but nonetheless it looks like a run batted in for Mike Massey, and it's 2-1 Gatemen in the 4th. One out and a runner at second base for Connor Gramis. Gramis 0 for 1 today, grounded out to Bryson Stott back in the second inning. First pitch from Easton Lucas to him, misses outside, and it's 1-0, and Drew Millis wants to talk things over with the left-hander. So they're going to charge that E9 to Jeremy Idens. In a single for Mike Massey, so no RBI for Massey. E9 to Idens. It's a tough call for Idens. The throw, really that error comes from the conditions. The ball skipped in the air after it hit the wet grass. But nonetheless, error charge to Idens. Ray Alejo scores. Good speed coming around the base paths. And it is 2-1 Gatemen. A ball and a strike that counts to Connor Gramis from Easton Lucas. The pitch in the dirt. Good stop by Drew Millis behind the plate. Gramis coming into the game 5 for 25 this year, but he does have some good power. 2 home runs out of those 5 hits to lead the Brewster Whitecaps. 2-1, 1 out, runner at second. The pitch from Lucas is swung on and popped up back and foul. Drew Millis gave it a look, but he wasn't going to be able to get to it through all the netting and chain link fencing behind home plate. And it's 2-2. Five hits, as we mentioned, this season for Gramis. 3 of them extra bases. The 2 home runs as well as a double for him. So when he does get a hold of a pitch, he takes it a pretty good way. 2-2 the pitch. Waved on and missed. Way out in front of a breaking ball from Easton Lucas. That looked nasty from up here. 4th strikeout of the day for Easton Lucas, and now he's just 1 out away from getting out of the jam. He'll have to deal here with Hunter Bishop. Bishop 0 for 1 today. Popped out to Sahid Valenzuela at second, back in the 2nd inning. Left-handed hitting right fielder from Arizona State. Runner on at second is Mike Massey. Brewster trying to tie this game up. It's 2-1 Gatemen right now. Ray Alejo coming in on a single, and then an error, a throwing error from Jeremy Idens in right field. So, ball was hit to right off the bat of Massey. Idens came up throwing. His throw skipped in front of home plate and then over the head of Drew Millis. Nobody there to back him up. And now this one is rocketed down the right field line, but foul. Quickly 0-2 to Bishop. Bishop coming into the game struggling, hitting a 167, 5 for 30 this season. This Brewster team littered with Power 5 kind of guys. Pitch home this time to Bishop is skied high into right field. Idens back at first, now comes in and makes the play for the final out of the inning. But not before the Brewster Whitecaps cut the lead in half. It's now 2-1 Gatemen as we head to the bottom of the 4th, coming up on WCTV. 6, 7, 8 due up for the Gatemen. First pitch to Parker Phillips is skied foul. It's 0-1. Wareham holds a 2-1 lead now. Runs in the first and in the third for Wareham. One run coming across the score in the top half of the fourth for Brewster. Zach Thompson back on the mound. The 0-1 pitch, nasty curveball that we've talked about a couple of times. Way out in front for Parker Phillips, and it's 0-2. Phillips 0 for 1 today, struck out swinging on that breaking ball back in the second inning. Phillips trying to get back into the groove he had during the collegiate season, just hitting 190 coming in today. This one swung on, hit toward the first baseman right. He flips to the pitcher covering. Thompson touches the bag. 3-1 on the put out of Parker Phillips. He's 0 for 2. And now there's one out for Ryan Kreidler. So good job from Zach Thompson to field his position. Always a tough play for the pitcher to come over and cover the first base bag, but he did it well. And now Kreidler strides in 0 for 1 today, grounded out to the shortstop Cameron Eden back in the second inning. At least 5 Gatemen have come to the plate in every inning today, and at least one run has scored in both innings for the Gatemen. Or excuse me, first and third 5 came to the plate, and first and third they have scored. Second inning, that was a 1-2-3 inning for the Gatemen. 0-1 the count to the right-hander Kreidler. The pitch up at his eyeballs, and it's 1-1. The count, the pitch. Swung on and popped up into shallow center field. Alejo comes in and makes the play for the second out of the inning. 2 up, 2 down for the Gatemen here in the fourth. And now Drew Millis, the switch-hitting catcher, will bat from the right side against the left-hander, Zach Thompson. Millis 0 for 1 today. Lined out hard to the third baseman, Lively. Back in his last at-bat in the second inning. Couldn't have hit it much harder if you're Millis. First pitch to him this time around. Loud strike call from the home plate umpire. 0-1. Quickly 0-2 now to Millis as another called strike, this time on the inner half. The Gatemen just one strike away from being set down 1-2-3 in the fourth. Here's the 0-2. Swung on, popped up into shallow right field. Bishop trickles into the outfield and makes the play for the final out of the inning. Gatemen go 1-2-3 in the fourth. We're headed to the top of the fifth. It's 2-1 Gatemen here on WCTV. Top of the fifth inning from Spillane Field. 2-1 the score. Gatemen leading it over the Brewster Whitecaps here on a Saturday night where this is the only game going on in the Cape Cod Baseball League. First pitch from Easton Lucas to Joe Donovan is in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Through his first 4 innings of work, Lucas has allowed just 1 run, but it was unearned. Coming back in the 4th inning. 0-1, misses inside, and it's 1-1. Donovan is 0 for 1 today. Flied out to center field back in the 2nd. 1-1 pitch. Swung on, popped up back and right, and it's 1-2. Donovan came into this game 5 for 14 at .357 this season. Not the everyday catcher for Brewster, but has played the last 2 nights, delivered the walk-off sacrifice fly to beat Katuitt for the Whitecaps yesterday at Stony Brook. 2-2 the count to him now. The right-handed hitting catcher from Michigan. As we mentioned, one of 4 Michigan Wolverines on this Brewster roster. 2-2 from Lucas. Swung on, diving stop. Nice play by Ryan Kreidler at third. And there's 1 gone for Dominic Canzone. Maybe not completely necessary to dive that time from Kreidler, but taking the necessary precautions to make sure it didn't trickle into left field. And now Dominic Canzone, the left fielder from Ohio State, strides in. 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. First pitch to him this time around. It's a called strike on the outer half, 0-1. Still not much action in the Wareham bullpen. Lucas has looked good thus far. This one tailing down into left field. Bryant Packer charged on it, thought he might have been able to make a play, but it's going to drop in for a single for Dominic Canzone. 1 on, 1 out for Cameron Eden. Packard could have maybe laid out and made that play. Decently tall at 6'3", but decided to take the safe route, let it fall in front of him, and didn't allow Dominic Canzone to move up for extra bases. Eden 0 for 1 today, the Cal shortstop. Flied out to center field, and Skylar Hunter back in the 3rd. And as you mentioned, Hunter's had a pretty busy day out there in center. 4 putouts for him. First pitch from Lucas to Canzone is in the dirt, but a good stop from Drew Millis behind the plate keeps Canzone on at first. I should say that was the first pitch to Eden, and it's 1-0. The count from the left-hander Easton Lucas to the right-handed hitting Cameron Eden. This one swung on, popped up foul. Again, Millis sheds the mask, but again, it's out of play. Only action going in the Wareham bullpen right now is Jared Horn. Getting in a couple of warm-up tosses. We are expecting to see him at some point today. Right-hander out of Cal Berkeley. His Cal teammate in the batter's box right now, Cameron Eden. 1-1 the count to him with 1 out and a runner on at first base, and Dominic Canzone. Again in the dirt, another nice stop from behind the plate from Millis. 2-1. Waved on and missed. Nice fastball from Lucas on the inner half. 2-2. Cold and rainy night here at Spillane Field. The rain has subsided for the most part, but it's still chilly and clouds covering the sky. Throw over Canzone back in plenty of time. Kind of reminds you a little bit of that Harwich game from last week when almost the entire league canceled their games. Only games at Spillane and Veterans Field and Chatham played that night. Very similar feel. Left-hander on the mound for Wareham in both. Easton Lucas today for the Gatemen. It was Ken Waldachuk last week. Close ball game. Of course, a 2-1 walk, or excuse me, a 3-2 walk-off for the Gatemen in that game. 2-1 here. Top of the fifth, the pitch to the right-hander Eden is in the dirt. Now it's a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Chris Wright, the Bryant first baseman, waits on deck. He'll come to the plate should Eden find a way to not hit into a double play. 1 out, top 5, 3-2 count. Runner on at first base is Dominic Canzone with Cameron Eden in the batter's box. Payoff pitch. Swung on, roped into shallow center field. Again, Skylar Hunter makes the play, barely has to move for it. And there's 2 gone and a runner on at first for Chris Wright. Making now 5 putouts for Skylar Hunter. Now seen 17 batters come to the plate. 5 have been retired on flyouts to center field. A little less than 1/3 of the outs today recorded for the Gatemen have gone to Skylar Hunter. First pitch misses inside on a breaking ball. It's 1-0. Wright 0 for 1 today, and guess what? He flied out to Skylar Hunter back in the second inning, fulfilling the prophecy. 1-0 pitch from Lucas. Low and outside, 2-0. As we mentioned the last time he came to the plate, Wright had a big season this year. 313, 10 doubles, 5 homers, second team All-Northeast Conference in his second year with the Bulldogs. He's been the starter since day 1 at Bryant for pretty good reason. All-State as a junior coming out of Cumberland, Rhode Island. Number 1 first baseman in the state, number 17 first baseman in New England, according to Prep Baseball Report. 2-1 called strikeout or half, and it's 2-2. And the Cape League is a bit of a showcase league, one of the biggest stages in all of baseball in terms of getting your face out there. But Wright is no stranger, I should say, to the Bright Lights. Played in the Little League World Series with those dominant Cumberland, Rhode Island teams when he was 12 years old, so about 8 years ago. 2010 Little League World Series. Of course, coming up in August out in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Cumberland, a frequenter of the World Series, representing the New England region. 3-2 the count here to Chris Wright, first baseman out of Bryant. Payoff pitch from Easton Lucas. Runner goes. Pitch outside. Didn't have to move an inch. Canzone up to second. Chris Wright up to first on a 2-out walk. And there's runners at first and second now for the top of the order and Austin Lively. Drew Millis going to come out and have a chat now with the left-hander on the mound, Easton Lucas. Try to settle him down here at the last out of the inning. Austin Lively 0 for 2 today, Grounded out to Valenzuela in the first and flied out to Skylar Hunter in the fourth. First pitch to him this time around. Well-located fastball. Outside corner, and it's 0-1. Lively out of Seattle University, the Big West Conference. 0-1. Breaking ball bends in just below the knees, though. It's now 1-1 to the sophomore, the rising junior, I should say, from Redmond, Washington, and Lake Washington High School. One the count to him this time around. Swung on, hit toward the the shortstop Stott, and on to first base for the last out of the inning. Brewster threatens it, but does not score. It's still 2-1 Gatemen. We're heading to the bottom of the fifth. It's coming up on WCTV.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Fantastic.
An all-Michigan battery now for the Brewster Whitecaps. New pitcher on the mound for Brewster is the right-hander out of the University of Michigan, Jeff Criswell. Freshman this season at Michigan, 6'3", 210 pounds, a 2.23 ERA, in 32 1/3 innings pitched. He gave up 18 hits, 11 runs, 8 of them earned, 19 walks, 32 strikeouts. How about this number, though? Opponents batting 168 against him. An excellent season in his freshman year for Jeff Criswell. He'll now be pitching to his Michigan teammate Joe Donovan, and the first pitch from Criswell, long, high overhand windup. It's 1-0 now to Skylar Hunter. Rather, it's going to be 0-1 to Hunter, excuse me. The pitch from Criswell, called strike, enter half, it's quickly 0-2. Hunter 0 for 2 today, flied out to center field back in the third inning. That time it was hitting from the right-handed batter's box. Here against Criswell, batting from the left. 0-2 the count, the pitch. Swung on, slashed foul. Still 0-2. Criswell out of Portage, Michigan, Portage Central High School. Waved on and missed in the dirt. Now 2-3 on the putout from Joe Donovan to Chris Wright. First batter he faces today for Criswell is a strikeout of Skylar Hunter. And there's one out for the top of the order and Jeremy Idens. Jeremy Idens, the right fielder from UCLA, 0 for 2 today. Grounded out to second base in the first, and then grounded out to the shortstop Eden back in the third. First pitch to Iden's called strike on the outer half, 0-1. Came into the day hitting .471. This has by far been the slowest start for Iden's in his tenure with the Gatemen. Again on the ground to shortstop. Eden up, Eden over, in and out for Jeremy Idens. Back-to-back 6-3 groundouts for Idens. There's 2 outs for the dangerous 2-for-2 Sahid Valenzuela. Valenzuela, a pair of extra base hits today. Solo home run back in the first, scored a run there, and then a double in the third, and later scored a run on a throwing error from Austin Lively at third base. First time he's hitting from the left side today, the first pitch to him. Breaking ball, called strike on the outer half, 0-1. Valenzuela 4 for 6 now on his Gateman career, 2 for 4 yesterday, 2 for 2 today. 0-1 swung on, rocketed, this time not into as deep left field. Canzone takes a couple of steps back and makes the play for out number 3. Gatemen back-to-back innings go 1, 2, 3. They still lead it 2-1 though. We're headed to the top of the 6th. Brewster trying to cut into the lead on the Gatemen base, on WCTV. Jared Horn, the right-hander from Cal, replaces Easton Lucas on the mound here in the top of the 6th inning for the Gatemen. His first pitch, Sheree Alejo, is a called strike, 0-1. Horn this season at Cal, 6.15 ERA. 81 hits given up, 60 runs, only 49 of them earned though. Nice breaking ball that time, just misses the strike zone apparently. And it's 1-1. Although he had a pretty good season at Cal, he struggled a little bit this year for the Gatemen. Has pitched twice this season, and the ERA is at 11.81. In just 5 1/3 innings, he's given up 13 hits, 8 runs, 7 of them earned, 2 walks and 5 strikeouts, but he's got a pretty good hitter in Ray Alejo in a 2-strike count here. 1 ball and 2 strikes. First batter he's faced, and the pitch home. Swung on, fouled off, and it's still 1-2. Alejo 1 for 2 today. Struck out swinging in the first, and then doubled and scored a run in the fourth. 2-1 Gatemen. Top 6. Brewster trying to tie this game up or take the lead. 1-2. Looping breaking ball just a bit too high above the belt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Another 2-strike pitch from Horn, misses low, and the count is full. Three and 2 full count, nobody out, top 6. The pitch from Horn to Alejo. Waved on and missed. Nice pitch from Jared Horn. His first strikeout of the day, the 5th for Gateman pitching. And there's 1 gone for Mike Massey. Now that Horn's into the game, we can close the line on Easton Lucas, and he was terrific tonight. 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, but it was unearned, and 4 strikeouts for Easton Lucas. Only 1 free pass, 1 walk for the left-hander from Pepperdine. First pitch to Mike Massey is just below the knees for a ball, and it's 1-0. Massey 1 for 2 today. Singled back in the fourth and struck out in the first, and it was the ball off his bat into right field that forced Jeremy Idens into a throwing error and scored Ray Alejo. This one rocketed into the right center field gap and down for a base hit. Around first comes Massey. The throw-in is going to be cut off by Sahid Valenzuela. It'll be a 1-out double for Mike Massey. So a runner on at second and 1 out for Connor Grammis. Massey continues to rake in the Cape League, 2 for 3 today. Came into the game hitting .444, so right now, if the stat line stays this way or gets even better, the average will bump up even higher for Massey. Grammis, on the other hand, struggling a little bit here in the Cape League, 0 for 2 today. He's now 5 for 27, under the Mendoza line on the season. First pitch from Horn to Grammis is swung on, foul back, and it's 0-1. Grammis, a 2-way guy for Brewster. Hit a home run against Chatham a few nights ago and then came out and closed out the game for a win. So gets it done with both the bat and the glove, the hand, the arm, however you want to go about thinking about it for the pitching. No balls and a strike, the pitch from Horn. Nice breaking ball, drops in right on the inside corner, 0-2. To the count. Connor Grammis, the DH. At second base, the runner is Mike Massey. The pitch home is swung on, fouled off down the third base line. It's still 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Grammis in the batter's box, Jared Horn on the mound, Mike Massey at second base. Second batter this inning that Jared Horn has gotten to 2 strikes. Pitch from the right-hander from Cal. Waved on and missed, and much like the first batter he got to 2 strikes, he strikes Connor Grammis out swinging, and there's 2 down and a runner on at second for Hunter Bishop. Jared Horn, as we mentioned, had been struggling mightily coming into this game. The ERA in double digits for him, but he's looked pretty good thus far, aside from allowing the 1-out double to Mike Massey. Now Hunter Bishop strides in from the left side, 0 for 2 today. The right fielder from Arizona State. Bishop popped out to the second baseman, Sahid Valenzuela, in the second, then flied out to Jeremy Idens to end the fourth inning. On 1 the count to Bishop. Short lead at second for Massey. The pitch from Horn misses low. Inside as well, it's 1-1. Brewster, 1 run on 3 hits thus far. Meanwhile, for the Gatemen, it's been 3 runs on just 2 hits. 2 runs on 2 hits, both coming from Sahid Valenzuela. 1-1 low, and it's 2-1. Valenzuela, Andrew Vaughn, and Bryant Packard, 2, 3, 4 in the Gatemen lineup, have been the only batters to reach base today. Packard with 2 walks, Vaughn reached on an error, and Valenzuela with the 2 hits. 2-1, breaking ball at the knees, and it's 2-2. Bishop, not the only successful baseball player in his family. His brother Braden, a third-round pick of the Mariners in 2015, playing with the Double-A Arkansas Travelers in the Rangers organization this season. 2-2, fouled off, and the count holds even. So Braden, a third-round pick of the Mariners in 2015. Hunter, a 24th-round pick of the Padres in 2016. Now in the Cape League, trying to make a case that he should be drafted a bit higher when the draft comes around next year and the year after. Just finished up his sophomore season at Arizona State. 2-2 from Horn. Checked his swing. He did go around according to the home plate umpire, and the side is retired. Jared Horn strikes out the side with a double, give it up in between. We're headed to the bottom of the 6th inning. Gatemen trying to add to a 2-1 lead here on WCTV. Vaughn, Packard, Stott due up for the Gatemen in the bottom of the 6th inning. Tried and add to a 2-1 lead here at Spillane Field on WCTV. JD Rachi here with you. Thanks so much for making us a part of your Saturday night. First pitch to Andrew Vaughn is a loud called strike, 0-1. Vaughn 0 for 2 today. grounded out to shortstop in the first, and then reached on an error by the third baseman Lively back in the third. 0-1 to him, just above the belt, a little bit too high, and it's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch from the right-hander Criswell is swung on and popped up into right field. Bishop ranging to his left and makes the play as he camps out underneath it for out number 1. Andrew Vaughn in his last home game at Spillane Field, 0 for 3 on the day. Guy that hasn't recorded an official at-bat, Bryant Packard coming to the plate. He's walked in both his plate appearances this evening. First pitch from the right-hander Criswell to the left-handed hitting Bryant Packard. Low checked his swing, but didn't even come close to going around. It's 1-0. Slashed foul, and it's 1-1. Coming into the game, Bryant Packard 7 walks on the day. Led the Gatemen, along with Bryson Stott, tied at the top with 7 walks on the season. Has continued that eagle eye at the plate, 9 now for the left-handed hitting left fielder from ECU. 1-1 fouled off in the exact same spot, and it's 1-2. Coming into the Cape League, he walked only 19 times at ECU this year, struck out 42. So the walk has become a bit more part of his arsenal, but there he strikes out in a good elevated fastball. Second strikeout of the day for Jeff Criswell. There's 2 down for Bryson Stott. Stott, much like Vaughn, his last home game of the season here at Spillane Field before heading off to Team USA. 0 for 2, struck out swinging in the first and grounded out 3 unassisted to Chris Wright at first base back in the third. First pitch from Criswell. Up near the eyeballs of Stott, and it's 1-0. Ball and no strikes the count. So the left-handed hitting shortstop Stott. Pitch to him is swung on, hit back up the middle. Gloved by Eden, though. His throw is high, but pulled down by Chris Wright at first base. And that's it for the 6th for the Gatemen. 3 straight innings now. The Gatemen have gone down 1-2-3. The offense has gone stagnant, but Wareham still holds a 2-1 lead as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Brewster coming to bat on WCTV. Jared Horn back to the mound for the Gatemen, top of the 7th inning. Wareham protecting a 2-1 lead over the Brewster Whitecaps here on Wareham Community Television. First pitch from Horn to Joe Donovan is swung on, slapped foul back into the padding behind home plate, and it's 0-1. Donovan 0 for 2 today, flat out to Skylar Hunter. Back in the 2nd inning and lined out on a dive to Ryan Kreidler at third base. Back in the 5th. The one run for Brewster came in to score in the 4th inning. Ray Alejo doubled and then later scored on a single and an error off the bat of Mike Massey. 0-2. Swung on, fouled off, and he stays alive at no balls and 2 strikes. Donovan had a stellar high school career at Westmont High School. Top 5 in Illinois state history in hits, doubles, and runs. Tied for 10th in home runs and 13th in runs batted in. This one chopped down the third base line on a line to Kreidler. He underhands the pick and then throws over to first for the first out of the inning. 5-3 on the put out of Joe Donovan. And now Dominic Canzone, the left fielder from Ohio State, strides in. .323 this season for the Buckeyes, but the freshman year was even more impressive for Canzone. .343 for Ohio State. Best average on the Buckeyes team and 5th best in the entire Big Ten Conference. But funnily enough, hit .323 this year was all Big Ten second team. Hit .343 as a freshman, but only made the Big Ten 3rd team. And now it looks like Drew Millis will get checked out behind the plate, or maybe it's either Drew Millis or the left-handed hitting Dominic Canzone, but either way, the trainers are headed back to the Wareham dugout. Must have been to look at Millis, but he seems fine behind the plate. Ball and no strikes to Canzone. 1 for 2 today. Struck out swinging in the 3rd and singled back in the 5th. 1-0 outside, and it's 2-0. Horn, the right-hander from California, on the mound. 2-0 pitch. Sliced foul into the dugout of Brewster. Everybody seemed to get their head down, but they're going to check over there just to make sure everybody's okay. Pretty scary moment. Looks like everybody seems to be all right. Kind of hard to tell from up in the press box here in left center field, but it does look like everybody's okay. The ump says it's time to play ball again, so hopefully everybody in the Brewster dugout is doing all right. 2 balls and a strike now to Canzone, the pitch. Inside. Canzone had to bend out of the way, and it's 3-1. Horn from Napa, California, in Vintage High School. Here comes his 3-1. Fouled off again and again toward the Brewster dugout. Almost took out the third base coach down there. Canzone coming for the heads of his own teammates down there. My goodness. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out, top of the 7th inning from Spillane Field. 2-1 Gatemen the lead. Payoff pitch from Horn. Swung on down the first base side and now into the dugout of the Gatemen. At least Canzone's not picking his victims. 2 into the dugout of Brewster, now 1 into the dugout of the Gatemen. Dominic Canzone is dangerous in multiple ways with the bat at the plate. Still 3-2 the count. Right-hander Horn comes set, working out of the full windup here with nobody on the pitch. Swung on this one, tapped down the third base side. Ryan Kreidler comes up throwing, big throw across the diamond in time. Nice play from Ryan Kreidler. That's not an easy one, having to come in and charge that ball. Back-to-back 5-3 putouts for Ryan Kreidler here in the 7th. And there's 2 outs for Cameron Eden, the shortstop out of Cal Berkeley. In Kreidler's first game at Spillane, he had played shortstop, and that's where he started the season with the UCLA Bruins this year before he got a little bit rusty there, started making a couple of errors you don't normally see from a guy of his tenure and a guy of his level of skill. So the Bruins moved him over to third base. He got much better there, and now he's flashing a nice glove at third base for the Gatemen, as the count is 0-1 to Cameron Eden from his teammate Jared Horn. Second pitch to Eden just misses the outer half, and it's 1-1. Orden Eden in the same recruiting class at Cal, along with Andrew Vaughn. All three will be juniors with the Golden Bears next season. 1-1, fouled off, and it's 1-2. Eden 0 for 2 today, has flied out to center field twice. Had come into the game hitting .267 with an RBI and a walk. 1-2 the count to him here. 2 outs, top of the 7th inning. Gatemen protecting a 2-1 lead. The pitch in the dirt, good stuff from Millis, even though nobody's on the base paths, and it's 2-2. Twos across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning, a 2-1 lead for the Gatemen at Spillane Field. Another 2-strike offering from Jared Horn. Waved on and missed. Nasty breaking ball sets down his collegiate teammate Eden, and the side is retired. It's now 4 strikeouts for Jared Horn through 2 innings of work. Still a 2-1 Gateman lead. They try to add to it coming up in the bottom of the 7th on WCTV. Jeff Criswell back to the mound for his third inning of work for the Brewster Whitecaps. Trying to hold it to just a 2-1 lead for the Wareham Gatemen here in the bottom of the seventh inning. Oh, and 1 the count now for Criswell. And the pitch home from the right-hander. Called strikeout or half, and it's 0-2. Oliver Dunn, the pinch hitter here for Parker Phillips. Phillips had been 0 for 2 coming into this at-bat, so Don Sneddon trying to get another guy in at-bat, try to add to this 2-1 lead. Dunn on the year, 3 for 23, a 130 average. Had a home run on opening night versus Chatham. Pretty much nothing since then. 0-2. Swung on and missed. 3-pitch strikeout for Criswell. That's how you want to start the seventh inning. He's retired all 7 batters he's faced now, and all in order, as now Ryan Kreidler will dig in from the right side. Kreidler out of UCLA, 0 for 2 today. Grounded out to the shortstop Eden in the second, and then flied out to the center fielder Alejo in the fourth. Criswell, as we mentioned, to his third full inning of work, he's been magnificent. First pitch to Kreidler continues that stretch, and it's 0-1. Kreidler coming into today, 4 for 7. Now down to 4 for 9 on the season. Average still floating around 500. 0-1 misses up above the belt. And it's 1-1. 4 for 9, a 444 average for Kreidler. This is his third game with the Gatemen. Ball on a strike, the pitch. Swung on, fouled off. And it's 1-2. His fourth day active on the roster, was activated for the Tuesday game against Chatham, but did not play in that game. Made his debut the next night against Hyannis. Ball and 2 strikes, the pitch. Up near the eyeballs and the chin of Ryan Kreidler. And sometimes I say eyeballs just to show the height of the pitch. This one really was near the eyes. He had to bend all the way out of the way. And it's 2-2. Drew Millis, the switch-hitting catcher, waits on deck for Wareham. This one popped up into shallow right center field. The right fielder Bishop calls everybody off, camps underneath it, and makes the play. 2 up, 2 down for the Gatemen in the bottom of the seventh inning. And now Drew Millis, as we mentioned, the switch-hitting catcher batting left, will dig in for Wareham. Millis 0 for 2 today. Lined out sharply to the third baseman Austin Lively in the second, and then flied out to Bishop in the fourth. Hunter Bishop playing right field today for Brewster. First pitch from Criswell to the to the switch hitter batting left. Called strike on the inner half, 0-1. Light fog settling in over Spillane Field. Sharply hit to the second baseman Massey. Sidearm throw to first is in time, and the side is retired. Jeff Criswell continues to mow down this Gatemen lineup. He's retired 9 in a row for Wareham, 12 in a row if you date it all the way back to the fourth inning when Zach Thompson retired the final 3 batters he's faced. The offense has run cold for the Gatemen. They do still lead 2-1 though as we head to the top of the 8th, coming up on WCTV. Inning number 3 for Jared Horn on the mound for Wareham, protecting a 2-1 lead for the Gatemen over the Brewster Whitecaps here in the top of the 8th inning from Spillane Field. First batter he'll face in the 8th is Chris Wright, and the first pitch to him is a called strike on the outer half. Jared Horn has been efficient, and that continues with strike number 1. Horn has faced just one over the minimum in his first 2 innings. Gave up a double to Mike Massey. Everything else has been an out. 3 strikeouts in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. Chris Wright 0 for 1 today, flied out to center field in the 3rd and then walked in the 5th against Easton Lucas. 1-1 outside, 2-1. Wright, the first baseman from Bryant, came in hitting .250 today. A triple and 2 walks to his credit. That number now up to 3 walks. The 2-1 swung on, roped under the glove of Sahid Valenzuela and into right field, a base hit. Tying run aboard for the Brewster Whitecaps in the 8th. Nobody out in the top of the order for Austin Lively. So the 4th hit of the day for Brewster. Meanwhile, the Gatemen have done far less than that, just 2 hits for Wareham, although they do own a 2-run lead. Or excuse me, a 1-run lead, a 2-1 lead. Lively 0 for 3 today. Grounded out to second base in the 1st, flied out to center field in the 4th, and grounded out to shortstop back in the 5th. Throw over, though, nothing doing, though, against Chris Wright. He's being held on by his fellow first baseman, Andrew Vaughn. First pitch, bunted down the first base line, no play at second. Sacrifice bunt works to perfection for the Whitecaps. Playing a little bit of small ball here. Sack bunt 1-3 on the put out. There's a runner on at second for Ray Alejo. Alejo making his season debut for the Whitecaps today. He is 1 for 3, struck out swinging in the 1st, doubled and scored a run in the 4th, and then struck out swinging in the 6th. No double play in order here, and it would be difficult to double up Alejo anyhow. 34 for 38 this season in stolen base opportunities for the UCF Golden Knights. Runner at second is Chris Wright. Not a ton of speed on the base paths. Although Jared Horn will certainly do well to make sure Wright stays there. Pitch to Alejo, called strike, 1-1. Horn has been extra aggressive this evening. Has done a good job of getting out in front of hitters, something he really struggled with through his first 2 outings. Came in sporting that 11.81 ERA. 1-1 breaking ball stopped by Millis. Check swing by Alejo. No appeal, though, and it's 2-1. First 2 appearances this season through 5 innings, 5 strikeouts for Horn. He's got 4 through 2 1/3 here. Two and 1 the count to Ray Alejo, the pitch. Outside and low, 3-1. You got to figure here if Horn is at some point pitching around Alejo. Does have the base open at first. And if you do walk Alejo here, he'll move into first and create a double play opportunity against Mike Massey, although Massey is the best hitter on this Brewster team, and he's 2 for 3 today. Three to 1 the count to Ray Alejo with Chris Wright on at second base. The pitch from Horn, low. Or rather, they're going to call a strike. Normally from this home plate umpire, we've seen a loud strike and a very emphatic strike call. That time Alejo had already taken off down the first base line. He fooled me too, and it's 3-2. Top of the 8th, 2-1 the lead for Wareham. Brewster was in a similar situation yesterday, trailed most of the game against Katuitt before a 2-run bottom of the 9th inning allowed them to walk it off at Stony Brook. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the payoff pitch from the right-hander Horn. Swung on, hit back up the middle. Stott gloves it. Runner will move up to third base, but a good throw nails Alejo at first. Good speed from Alejo. Moving up to third is Chris Wright. And now Mike Massey comes up in a big situation. 2 for 3 today. The best hitter on this Whitecaps team. And the tying run on at third base for him. Massey out of Illinois. A single in the 4th. A double in the 6th. Double, one of just 2 hits allowed here for Jared Horn in his outing. The other one, the single from Chris Wright to get this inning going. Ryan Kreidler and Drew Millis coming out to talk with Horn. And if you're Horn in this situation, I think you're just going to have this 1v1 mentality. It's me versus the batter, and that's it. Now, it looks like Jim Lawler will come out and have a chat with Horn. Talk things over with how they want to attack Massey here. As we mentioned, Massey 2 for 3 today, hitting .444 on the season coming in. He's now 14 for 30 on the season, bumping up his average to .467. Fog has settled over Spillane Field, nothing like the ones you might see at Veterans Field. Chatham game the other day ending in a 1-1 tie because the fog became just too much to play through in the 5th inning. Chatham now has 2 ties on its record this season, one of the better teams in the East Division, but 2 of their losses have come to the Gatemen. Gatemen 2-0 against the Chatham Anglers in 2018. So Mike Massey steps in, and they're going to intentionally walk him. Get around Massey and to Connor Granis, who has struggled today, 0 for 3, and is hitting now below the Mendoza line, but low 200 on the season. And once you put Massey on at first, it also creates a force out at both first and second base. So a smart play here from Jim Lawler and Don Snedden, deciding to walk a dangerous hitter in Massey. All 4 pitches float outside, intentional base on balls to Massey, and now runners at first and third for Connor Gramis. The only thing about this move that might have made Snedden and Lawler think twice about considering it is the fact that Gramis does have power. This season at Xavier for Gramis, 10 home runs and 7 doubles. He has 2 home runs on the Cape this year. But he is 0 for 3 today. Grounded out to shortstop in the 2nd and struck out swinging twice in the 4th and the 6th. Once against Easton Lucas and once against Jared Horn. Horn steps off the mound, steps back on. Runner at third is Chris Wright. Runner at first is Mike Massey. It'll be interesting to see if they put Massey in motion here. Pickoff attempt not nearly in time. But if you're Brewster and you move the runner up to second, not only do you have runners in scoring position, 2 of them, with 2 outs down by 1, but you also eliminate the force out at either base. Horn being very careful with the runners on base here, steps off once again, a bit of a pickoff move toward third base. Pretty shallow depth for the outfielders here at Spillane. Another throw over to first, but Massey again back in standing up. We still haven't seen a pitch thrown to Connor Gramis. First pitch to Gramis, waved on and missed. Good fastball from Horn on the inner half, 0-1. Both the second baseman Valenzuela and the shortstop Stott being very careful to cover the bag should Massey be on the move here. 0-1, 2 outs. A 2-1 lead for Wareham in the 8th. Again, a throw over. Again, Massey back in, standing up. A 1 up at the eye level of Gramis, and it's 1-1. Chris Wright leads off the inning with a single, a sac bunt from Austin Lively. Alejo grounded out to shortstop. That moved right up to third. Then an intentional base on balls issued to Mike Massey. 1-1 is fouled off, and it's 1-2. And now Jared Horn is one strike away from getting out of a jam here, protecting a 2-1 Wareham lead in the 8th. He's got 4 strikeouts today, would love to make it 5 here against Gramis. Throw over again, Massey back though. Wright is barely leading off the bag at third base. 1-2 the count, some action in the Wareham bullpen. Here comes the 2-strike pitch from Horn. Fouled off. And it's still 1-2. Gramis barely fouling off the 2-strike pitch from Horn. And now Drew Millis going to come out, give a couple of signs to his infield and his outfield. Make sure everybody is on the same page. 1-2, 2 outs, a 1-run lead for the Gatemen in the 8th. Runners at the corners for Brewster. Gatemen trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. The 1-2. Swung on and popped up into right center field. Idens called off by Hunter, and Skylar Hunter makes the play for out number 3. A fantastic showing of attitude and just fantastic fortitude, for Jared Horn on the mound. Runners at the corners with 2 outs, and he gets Connor Gramis to fly out to center field. We are headed to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Gatemen try to add to a 2-1 lead. They want a couple of insurance runs. That's coming up on WCTV.
Fantastic.
Skylar Hunter leads off the bottom of the 8th inning for the Gatemen, a 2-1 lead over the Brewster Whitecaps from Spillane Field. The first pitch to him is swung on, pop foul toward Wareham Middle School, and it's 0-1. Jeff Criswell back to the mound for his 4th inning of work. He has been perfect thus far. 9 up, 9 down against the rising sophomore from Michigan. 0-1 to Hunter, tries to lay one down, but it's going to get foul. Third baseman Lively was pretty aware there. Would have been tough for Hunter to beat it out, even with his speed. Hunter 0 for 2 today. Flied out to center field in the third and struck out swinging in the fifth. 0-2 the count to him from Criswell. Right-hander looks in, the high leg kick. Pitch up, and it's 1-2. 2-1 Gatemen, bottom of the eighth inning. Neither team has scored since the fourth, although Jared Horn did erase a corners jam back in the last half inning. That time, Skylar Hunter too far around on a high fastball on the outer half. Strikeout number 4 of the day for Jeff Criswell. That's 10 straight batters he's retired. It's the top of the order in Jeremy Idens. Idens coming into the day, 471 on the year on the Cape, and now 0 for 4 today, or excuse me, 0 for 3 today. A trio of ground outs, 1 to second base and 2 to the shortstop, Eden. First pitch to him this time around, shows bunt, pulls it back, but it's a called strikeout or half, 0-1. Idens hit .353 for the UCLA Bruins this year. Great hitter in the batter's box. Exactly the guy you want up if you're the Gatemen, trying to get some insurance across in the eighth. There's some action in the Wareham bullpen. We'll have to find out who will come out for the ninth, whether it's Jared Horn to finish things off or another pitcher coming in for Wareham. After the swing and miss from Iden, it's 1-2. Bottom 8, 1 out. Gatemen trying to find a way to solve Jeff Criswell. That pitch misses just off the outer half, and it's 2-2. Criswell and Joe Donovan both wanted that call, the pitcher and catcher for Brewster, but did not get it from the home plate umpire. The 2-2 from the right-hander Criswell. Swung on, it skied into right field. Bishop turns one way, then swivels his hips back the other, but he does make the play. 11 up, 11 down against Jeff Criswell. And now Sahid Valenzuela coming to the plate. Gatemen had 2 hits today, both from Valenzuela. A home run in the first and a double and a run scored in the third. He has been the difference maker for the Gatemen. Switch hitter batting left. 2-1 the lead for Wareham. He's trying to add to it here against Criswell. First pitch from the right-hander. Misses below the knees, down. You can hear it from the home plate umpire. 1-0. Valenzuela, the second baseman from Cal State Fullerton, in his second game with the Gatemen. 2 for 3, flied out to center field in his last at-bat. Shows bunt, pulls it back. Pitch misses inside, and it's 2-0. Valenzuela has good speed on the base paths. Gatemen trying to manufacture a base runner any way they can. Swinging away has not done the job since all the way back in the third inning. That was the last time the Gatemen had a base runner. 2-0 called strike 2-1. Since the third, 3 up, 3 down in the fourth, 3 up, 3 down in the fifth, 3 up, 3 down in the sixth, 3 up, 3 down in the seventh, and now 2 up, 2 down here in the eighth. The 2-1. Outside 3-1 now to Valenzuela. So if my math is correct, that's 14 straight Gatemen that have gone down here against Brewster Whitecap pitching. 3 balls and a strike. The pitch to Valenzuela upstairs, and mercifully the streak comes to an end for the Gatemen. Their first base runner since the third inning, and who else but Sahid Valenzuela. He's on at first with 2 outs for the big bopper Andrew Vaughn. Vaughn 0 for 3 today. Grounded out to shortstop in the first. Reached on an error from the third baseman Lively in the third, and then flat out to right field back in the sixth inning. Tried to erase the 0 for here and bring Bryant Packer to the plate and try to get some insurance runs across here for the Gatemen. Valenzuela with good speed on at first. The first pitch from the right-hander Criswell out of the stretch for the first time today. Misses up above the belt, 1-0. Time called now by the home plate umpire. Jamie Shevchuk will come out and have a chat with his right-hander Jeff Criswell on the mound. And there's not much you can say to Criswell here. He has been brilliant through his first 4 and a third, 2/3 innings of work. A strikeout in the fifth, another strikeout in the sixth, another strikeout in the seventh, and already a strikeout here in the eighth. But that will spell the end of the day for the right-hander Criswell. So mid-at-bat, we'll have a new pitcher on the mound for the Brewster Whitecaps. It'll be a left-hander. Left-hander Zach Thompson got the day started for Brewster. We'll have to see which left-hander the Whitecaps have turned to now. I misspoke. It'll be a right-hander now. I think I saw Chris Wright, the left-handed first baseman. Looked like the new pitcher, but it will be a right-hander on the mound for Brewster. Connor Gramis, the DH, will come in and pitch, and this guy throws gas for Brewster. As I mentioned, game against Chatham last week, hit a home run to take the lead for Brewster, and then came in to close out the game and pick up the save. So he will come in and pitch. The right-hander from Xavier. Gramis this season, a 0.00 ERA. That one outing was the only one. When one inning, gave up 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. According to Brewster broadcaster Jack McMullen, this kid sits mid to upper 90s on the fastball. Will be something difficult to deal with here for Andrew Vaughn. This season at Xavier, nothing inspiring on the mound. A 6.75 ERA in 18 games in 3 starts. He pitched 28 innings, gave up 24 hits, 23 runs, 21 of them earned, 26 walks, and 45 strikeouts. Opponents batting .235 against the right-hander. Much like his hitting numbers, his pitching numbers were also better on the mound as a freshman. 5.96 ERA as a frosh. And he will deal with the most dangerous hitter, the most difficult hitter in this Gatemen lineup, and probably the most dangerous hitter in the Cape League and possibly in all of college baseball. Andrew Vaughn with a 1-0 count and 2 outs. Runner on at first is Sahid Valenzuela. Gatemen trying to add here to a 2-1 lead in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Gramis will come in working straight out of the stretch with a 1-0 count to Vaughn. First pitch from the right-hander. Fastball, called strike, outer half, 1-1. Valenzuela, as we mentioned, some good speed on at first base. Gatemen a 2-1 lead, all of it with just 2 hits, both coming from Valenzuela. 1-1 the count. The pitch from Gramis gets away from the catcher, Donovan behind home plate. Valenzuela up to second base on the wild pitch. Now a runner in scoring position with 2 outs for Andrew Vaughn. Vaughn, the big burly first baseman from Cal. trying to drive Zahid Valenzuela in from second base. Gramis steps off the mound for Brewster. Now steps back on. Joe Donovan will come out and have a chat with him. 2-1 the count. 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning. 2-1 Gatemen from Spillane Field. The only game going on in the Cape Cod Baseball League this evening. The fog has lightened up a bit here at Spillane. 2-1 the pitch. In the dirt, gets away from the catcher again. And up to third base now is Valenzuela. And the count is 3-1 to Vaughn. Back-to-back wild pitches for Gramis. The speedster Valenzuela from first to second, now second to third. Brewster makes the decision to lift the right-hander Jeff Criswell from the game after he had pitched magnificently. 3-1 misses inside, and now a 5-pitch walk to Andrew Vaughn. Runners at the corners for Bryant Packard. Criswell went 3 2/3 innings, no hits. Can't tell you whether or not he'll give up a run because Zahid Valenzuela is his responsibility at third. 4 strikeouts, though, for the Michigan Wolverine. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. Bottom 8 in an 0-1 count to Bryant Packard. Pitch home, misses inside, and it's 1-1 now. Packard 0 for 1 on the day. Walked in the first, walked in the third, and then struck out in the 6th. Ball and no strikes the count. The pitch home. Misses inside, and it's 2-0. Gramis, the right-hander from Xavier, trying to get out of a jam. Pitch to Packard, inside, 3-0 now. You look at Gramis's numbers, you're pretty impressed by the strikeout number. 45 strikeouts in 28 innings, but the walk number is the one that scares you. Throws hard, but hasn't quite been able to control his pitches. 26 walks in 28 innings. 3-0 misses down low. 4-pitch walk. Walk number 3 of the day for Bryant Packard. And the bases are loaded for Bryson Stott. Gatemen here trying to add to a 2-1 lead. In a great position to do that right here. With the bases loaded and a very good hitter in Bryson Stott coming to the plate. Although Stott is 0 for 3 today. Jimmy Shevchuk back out to the mound. Talking things over here with Connor Gramis. We'll have to wait to see if they make a move. Doesn't look like there's going to be anybody coming out from the Brewster bullpen here in left field. It will just be a mound visit. Shevchuk entrusting Connor Gramis here. First 2 batters that Gramis has faced, a pair of walks. A 5-pitch walk to Vaughn, and then a 4-pitch walk to Bryant Packard. Now Bryson Stott, the shortstop. Struck out swinging in the first. Grounded out to the first baseman Chris Wright in the third, and grounded out to shortstop in the 6th. Will try to deliver here with the bases loaded. First pitch from Connor Gramis. Inside, and it's 1-0. If you're Stott here, I think you got to look at a couple of pitches at the very least, considering how poorly Gramis has been able to control the strike zone here. 1-0. Called strike at the belt. Looked a little high from up here, but it's 1-1. Stott 365 this season at UNLV. Came into this game at 313. 1-1 outside, 2-1. You can tell Gramus is throwing hard, but sometimes when you're this young, just about 20 years old, 21 years old for Gramus, and you're throwing that hard, it's kind of difficult to control pitches with that much velo. 2-1. Swung on, hit toward the shortstop, Eden. Charging, his throw is in time, and the side is retired. A gigantic ground out induced by the right-hander Gramus from Xavier. It's 2-1 Gatemen. We're headed to the top of the ninth. Wareham will try to close out this game against Brewster when we come back on Wareham Community Television. Jared Horn on for his fourth inning of work, going for a 4-inning save here. 0-1 the count to the first batter he will face in this inning, Hunter Bishop. Second pitch, though, misses inside. It's 1-1. Gateman left the bases loaded in the bottom half of the eighth. We'll have to see if that comes back to bite them here in the top of the ninth. Bishop 0 for 3 today. The 1-1 pitch to him. Misses outside, 2-1. Horn has been stellar through his first couple of innings of work. 4 strikeouts, although he has allowed 1 hit in 2 of the 3 innings. 2-1. Outside off the glove of Millis, and now it's 3-1. Bishop the tying run at the plate here for Brewster. It'll be him, then Joe Donovan and Dominic Canzone. 3-1 the count. The pitch from the right-hander Horn, here it comes. Breaking ball upstairs, he lost him. The game-tying run is on at first base. Joe Donovan, the right-handed hitting catcher from Michigan, strides in now in a big spot. Down a run. Fog continuing to settle in here at Spillane. Can even see it moving out in center field. Donovan, like Bishop, 0 for 3 today. He's faced Horn once and grounded out to third base. First pitch to him, upstairs, inside as well, and it's 1-0. Drew Millis and Ryan Kreidler in to have a chat here with Jared Horn. He's missed up a couple of times, just doesn't seem like he's following all the way through on his motion. Brewster has played small ball once today, back in the 8th, a sacrifice bunt from Austin Lively. We'll have to see if the sack bunt is on once again here for Joe Donovan. Ryan Kreidler certainly playing like it is. Throw over, but Bishop is back in time standing up. Gatemen trying to snap a 2-game losing streak here. 1-0 pitch. Showing bunt again. It misses inside, and it's 2-0. So it looks like Brewster will try to play small ball. Throw over to first again, but again, Hunter Bishop is back in standing up with no tag. It's being held on there by Andrew Vaughn. 2-0 the count to Joe Donovan. Donovan squares, gets a bunt down, but it'll roll foul, 2-1. Good pitch there from Horn, knowing that the bunt was coming from Donovan, left it up in the zone. And it's much harder to bunt on a high pitch than a low pitch. 2-1, nobody out, runner at first. Brewster trying to come back from a 2-1 deficit. The 2-1 pitch showing bunt. Again, it's upstairs. Millis has to extend his left arm way in the air to make the catch. And now it's 3-1. Donovan represents the go-ahead run at home plate. Hunter Bishop at first is the game-tying run. Three and one the count to pitch. Showing bunt once more. Horn can't find the strike zone. A 5-pitch walk to Joe Donovan. And now the go-ahead run is on at first base. Back-to-back walks for Dominic Cazone. Andrew Vaughn has some words with Jared Horn, and now Jim Lawler will come out and speak with Horn as well. Drew Millis coming out from behind the plate. Horn had been stellar. I mean stellar through his first 3 innings. He's fallen apart here, though. He's only thrown 9 pitches, 8 of which have been for balls, and now it looks like we're going to have a pinch runner come on at first base for Joe Donovan. Can't see exactly who it is yet. Now we will also have a pitching change here for the Gatemen. So it looks like Jared Horn's day is done. Both runners on base are his responsibility. Gage Workman from Arizona State will be the pinch runner here for Donovan. New pitcher on the mound for the Gatemen. Looks like it'll be the right-hander Ryan Stoudemire from Charleston Southern. Big right-hander, 6'3", 250 pounds, the rising junior from Pomeria, South Carolina. Horn's day is done. Now Stoudemire coming on in relief, and he's in a tough situation. Runners at first and second, Hunter Bishop and Gage Workman. Go-ahead run is on at first. Gatemen protecting a 2-1 lead. The stats on Stoudemire this season at Charleston Southern: a 6.69 ERA in 18 games, 5 of them starts. He went 35 innings, gave up 54 hits, 29 runs, 26 earned, 13 walks, and 40 strikeouts. This season on the Cape hasn't been terribly kind to Stoudemire. A 6.75 ERA. In 2 2/3 innings, he's given up 3 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, walked 2 and struck out 1. So now the big burly right-hander from Charleston Southern will try to come in here in a very tough situation and close out this game for the Gatemen. There is a force at every base here. So in theory, the Gatemen would trade 2 outs for a runner at third base. Dominic Canzone, the left-handed hitting left fielder, strides in. He's 1 for 3 today. Struck out swinging in the third, singled on a bloop single into left field in the 5th, and then grounded out to the third baseman Kreidler on a slow roller in the 7th. Stoudemire will come in and try to get the job done here. 6'3", 250-pound right-hander from Charleston Southern. Runner at second base is Hunter Bishop. The runner at first is Gage Workman. The pitch home. Showing bunt, the ball gets away from Drew Millis. He fakes a throw down to third. Now a throw to second, but both runners advance. And now that eliminates the double play possibility. We'll see how they score that, either wild pitch or pass ball. From up here, it looked like the ball was in the dirt from Stoudemire. So the first pitch Stoudemire throws in the dirt will be scored a wild pitch against Stoudemire. So now runners at second and third, nobody out. So the Gatemen infield will come in. Anything hit on the infield will come home. 1-0 to Stoudemire, swung on and popped up into left center field. Hunter comes up throwing, play at the plate is going to be close. It's cut off by the first baseman Andrew Vaughn, and this game is tied at 2. Bishop in to score from third on the sac fly from Dominic Canzone. That's Skylar Hunter's ball, no doubt, but we've seen this season the kind of arm that Bryant Packard has in left field. Questioning whether or not maybe Hunter should have allowed Packard to come up with that ball and have a better play at the plate, but nonetheless, we've got a tie ball game 2-2. Runner on at second and 1 out for Cameron Eden from Cal. First pitch to him is a called strike on the outer half. It's 0-1. Eden 0 for 3 today. Flied out twice to center field and struck out swinging in the 7th. Runner on at second is Gage Workman. Pitch home from Stoudemire. Misses low, and it's 1-1. So that run will be charged to Jared Horn. He's still also responsible for the runner on at second in Gage Workman. 1-1 the count, the pitch home. Is swung on, hit to the third baseman Kreidler. From a knee, his throw is in time. Runner cannot move up to second. So now there's 2 outs for the bottom of the order and Chris Wright. So Stoudemire has done a good job. He's produced 2 outs. Although the wild pitch was the reason that the runner was able to score from third on the sac fly. Two outs. The first pitch to Wright is a called strike on the outer half, 0-1. We've got a tie ball game from Spillane Field, 2-2 the score between the Wareham Gatemen and the Brewster Whitecaps. Wareham has struggled offensively since early in this game. Brewster coming on with one run here in this 9th inning to tie this ball game. It's now 1-1 from Stoudemire to Chris Wright. Millis out once again for a conference, trying to settle Stoudemire down on the mound. One and one the count, 2 outs. Gage Workman on at second base. The Gatemen trying to keep this game tied and have a chance to win it in the 8th. Or excuse me, in the 9th. 1-1 the pitch. Swung on, slicing foul and out of play. 1-2. Wright is 1 for 2 on the day. Flied out to center in the 3rd, walked in the 5th, and singled and was stranded at third base in the 8th. The 1-1. Swung on, hit back up the middle, diving stop by Stott on a knee. His throw to first is in time for out number 3. Bryson Stott makes a fine defensive play at shortstop to end the inning, but Brewster does tie it up on a sac fly from Dominic Canzone. We're headed to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Gatemen will try to walk it off coming up on WCTV. Can Austin Shenton do it again? The left-handed hitter from Florida International will pinch hit in the DH spot to lead off the bottom of the 9th inning against the new right-hander on the mound from Kentucky, Carson Coleman. Going back to Sunday, game 1 of the doubleheader against Orleans, Austin Shenton delivered a walk-off home run to right field. He will now bat here with one swing of the bat. He can end this game. The first pitch from Coleman misses outside, and it's 1-0 to Shenton. Shenton at one time was leading the Cape League in batting. Numbers have gone down just a touch over the last couple days. 1-0 outside again, and it's 2-0. Shenton at .382 this season. 2 doubles in that home run. He's knocked in 8 RBIs, 2 balls, no strikes, the pitch. Outside once more from Coleman, and it's 3-0. Coleman, the redshirt freshman, rising redshirt sophomore from Kentucky. 3.15 ERA this season for the Wildcats. 18 walks, 32 Ks. Opponent's only hitting 183 against him, though. 3-0. Get me over fastball does just that, and it's 3-1. It'll be Shenton, Kreidler, Millis, barring any other lineup substitutions here for the Gatemen. 3-1. Outside, 5-pitch walk to Shenton. The winning run is on at first for Ryan Kreidler. Now time is going to be called by the home plate umpire. We'll have a pinch runner on at first base. Can't see exactly who it is, but my best bet would be Isaac Collins. He has the best speed on the bench here for the Gatemen. It is Isaac Collins from Creighton University. Isaac Collins, who I've compared this game a couple of times to the Harwich walk-off last week. Collins induced a leadoff walk in that game. It was later brought in to score on a Bryant Packard sac fly. He scored the game-winning run. In a similar situation here. First pitch from the right-hander Carson Coleman. Showing bunt is Kreidler. He pulls it back, but it's called strike anyways. 0-1. Kreidler 0 for 3 today. Grounded out to the shortstop in the second. Flied out to center field in the fourth and flied out to right field in the seventh. 0-1. Shows bunt again. Pulls it back. Again called strike. It's 0-2. Kreidler came into this game 4 for 7. He's now 4 for 10, still hitting 400 on the year. 0-2 the count to him with Isaac Collins on at first base. The speedster from Creighton. The 0-2 pitch. Outside and high, 1-2. Good job from Kreidler not to chase. Wouldn't have been able to do much with that pitch. Good fastball from Coleman. The redshirt sophomore from Lexington, Kentucky, in Lexington Catholic High School. 1-2 the count, the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Fouled into the glove of the catcher Christian Malfetta, who has come on in relief of Joe Donovan, who was pinch run for in the last half inning. Strikeout number 1 on the day for Carson Coleman. There's one out and a runner on at first. And it looks like we're going to... No, it will be Drew Millis. At first I thought it might have been Luke Roscom coming in to pinch hit. It will be Drew Millis. The switch-hitting catcher from Missouri State is 0 for 3 today. First pitch from the right-hander Coleman. Strike called outer half, 0-1. Millis sharply lined out to third base in the second, flied out to right in the fourth, and then grounded out 4-3 to Mike Massey at second base back in the seventh. Try to keep the ball off the ground here. 0-1 and 1 out. Pitch. Swung on, roped into right field. Charging is Bishop, and he makes the play on the run for out number 2. Well hit from Millis, but right at the right fielder. 2 outs and a runner on at first for the bottom of the order in Skylar Hunter. Skylar Hunter, the switch hitter from Purdue. He's 0 for 3 today. The first pitch to him. Outside corner called strike, 0-1. Fly out to center in the third and has since struck out swinging twice, once in the fifth and once in the eighth. Average not great for him, but he did come up clutch yesterday in Orleans. Can he do it again? The 0-1. Called strike at the knees on the inner half this time, and it's 0-2. This game now one strike away from heading to extra innings. 0-2 the count. 2 outs, runner at first. The pitch from Carson Coleman is swung on and missed. Strike 3. And that will do it for our first 9 scheduled innings. We've got free baseball from Spillane Field headed to the top of the 10th inning. Wareham Gatemen 2, the Brewster Whitecaps 2, here on WCTV. Top of the 10th inning, and a quick out number 1, shattered bat right back to the pitcher from the leadoff hitter, Austin Lively. He grounds out 3-1, and there's already 1 gone in the 10th for Brewster. Ray Alejo and Mike Massey will be the next 2 batters. Alejo comes in 1 for 4 on the day. Massey is 2 for 3. And Massey is the best hitter on this Brewster team. First pitch from the right-hander Ryan Stoudemire, back for his 2nd inning of work. Misses outside 1-0. Alejo, the speedster from UCF, if he gets on base, could be trouble for the Gatemen. 1-0, misses outside again, 2-0 now. Alejo hit .299 this season. In his first year at UCF after transferring from Ole Miss. 2-0. Called strikeout or half, 2-1. 14 doubles, 3 triples, and a home run this season for Alejo. Those the extra base hits. He'd love to get one here and put himself in scoring position. 2-1, fouled back, and it's 2-2. Working close to 3 hours now on this game. 9:28 the time. First pitch was at 6:30. 2-2 the count. The pitch from Stoudemire is swung on, hit on a couple of hops to Stott. Going to be a tough play. Throws onto first base in time. Nice play from Bryson Stott. The second of the day for Stott after he ended the last inning on a nice defensive play. And there's 2 outs for Mike Massey. As we mentioned, Massey is 2 for 3 today. Struck out in the first inning swinging against Easton Lucas. Singled in the 4th. Doubled in the 6th, and then was intentionally walked in the 8th. First pitch to him here, misses outside 1-0. This one hit on the ground towards second base. Valenzuela up with it and over to first. An easy 1-2-3, top of the 10th for the Gatemen defense and pitching staff. We're headed to the bottom half of the 10th once again. The Gatemen trying to walk it off. It'll be the top of the order to do so coming up on WCTV. Chance to walk it off. We've still got a 2-2 ball game here from Spillane Field. New pitcher for the Brewster Whitecaps is the right-hander from Tennessee, Andrew Schultz. Schultz coming off his sophomore year with the Volunteers, 6'4", 195 pounds, and it was an ugly sophomore campaign for him. 11.25 ERA in 15 games, just 8 innings. He gave up 10 hits, 10 earned runs, walked 9 and struck out the same. Opponents, though, hit .323 against the right-hander. He will deal with the top of the Gatemen lineup. The first pitch to Jeremy Idens misses outside, and it is 1-0. Schultz has made 2 appearances this season with the Whitecaps. Pitch is low to Idens, 2-0. In 2 2/3 innings, he's given up just 1 hit, 1 run, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. He's been excellent for the Whitecaps. 2-0 to Idens, misses low, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. Gatemen got off to a similar start in the in the bottom of the 9th inning. Austin Shenton walked before Isaac Collins came on as a pinch runner. Pitch to Idens, get me over. Fastball called strike, 3-1. Nothing doing for the Gatemen after that, though. Strikeout from Kreidler, line out to right field from Millis, and a strikeout from Skylar Hunter. 3-1 to Idens. Swung on, hit back up the middle. Nice glove from Cameron Eden, and a nice cross-body throw is in time for out number 1. Cameron Eden has done an excellent job at shortstop this evening. He's made a number of really nice plays, and there's 1 out for Sahid Valenzuela. Now we're now working into the bottom of the 10th inning here for the Gatemen. Sahid Valenzuela is still the only Gateman with a hit today. He's got 2. He's also walked and reached third base in the 8th, but the Gatemen could not score him. Would have been a huge insurance run and would have won the game for the Gatemen. First pitch to him, catches the outside corner for a called strike. It's 0-1. Solo homer in the first for Valenzuela, double and a run scored in the 3rd, flied out to center in the 5th, and then walked and was stranded at 3rd in the 8th. A 1 outside, 1 ball and 1 strike to Valenzuela. .270 at Cal State Fullerton this year for Valenzuela. Numbers down from a .310 year a year ago. 1-1. Checked his swing, misses outside, 2-1. Doesn't have a lot of power. 14 doubles, 2 triples this year from Cal State Fullerton. No home runs, so the home run this evening, his first home run of 2018. Pitch to him, rides upstairs, now 3-1 to Valenzuela, who does have speed on it first, and the Gatemen could elect to play a little small ball to try to move him around the base paths. Although if Valenzuela gets on, I'm going to guess you're going to let Andrew Vaughn swing the bat. 3-1 the count, the pitch to Valenzuela. Swung on, he loses his bat. Nearly hit Andrew Vaughn in the on-deck circle. The count is full. So Dominic Canzone was pelting balls at both dugouts. Now Zahid Valenzuela pelts a bat at Andrew Vaughn. Still no injuries in this game somehow. Count 3 balls and 2 strikes to Valenzuela. Schultz will step off the mound. Was very highly touted coming out of Greater Atlanta Christian School out of high school. The payoff pitch from him is swung on and nubbed down the first base line. Valenzuela has speed. But it looks like it's going to be called foul by the home plate umpire. Might have hit the home plate before Valenzuela could get down the line. Might have hit Valenzuela before he could get out of the batter's box. Not sure exactly which it was, but we'll do it again at a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Going back to Schultz, it was the number 22 right-hander in the country per Baseball America, number 34 by Perfect Game, and the number 114 overall prospect by Perfect Game. 3 balls and 2 strikes. We got a full count, and all of the fog has disappeared from Spillane Field. Another payoff pitch from Schultz. This one slashed foul, and again Valenzuela stays alive. The crowd has thinned out considerably here at Spillane Field. Was pretty full about an hour ago. Now working on our 3rd hour and 4th minute of this game, or excuse me, 7th minute of this game. Not many people left at Spillane. 3-2. Outside ball 4. Zahid Valenzuela draws a 1-out walk. He is on at first for Andrew Vaughn. Vaughn is 0 for 3 today. Grounded out to shortstop in the first. Reached on an error in the 3rd. Lined out to right field in the 6th, and then walked in the 8th. He is the bat you want at the plate if you're the Gatemen to end this thing with 1 swing. 4 home runs on the year, tied for the CCBL lead. We haven't seen a home run from him all week, aside from the solo homer in Game 2 of the doubleheader against Orleans on Sunday. He strides in from the right side. Valenzuela with good speed on it first. We'll see if he puts him in motion. First pitch to him. Misses up and in, 1-0. Vaughn came into this game 3-0-2. 3 doubles, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, and 6 runs. A double placed well in the gap could even end this game with the kind of speed Valenzuela has at first base. A ball and no strikes, the count. Pitch home from the right-hander. Upstairs again, 2-0. These are the kinds of situations with all these scouts here. Vaughn, very highly touted, incredibly talented. But these are the kinds of situations that show what you're made of mentally. 2-0 comes in and gets him. Pitch misses up and in to Andrew Vaughn. Runners at first and second for another big bat in Bryant Packard. So the Gatemen might only have 2 hits on the day, but now they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 walks. 3 of them issued to Bryant Packard. Packard is 0 for 1 today in 4 plate appearances. Walk in the first, walk in the third, strikeout in the sixth, walk in the eighth. First pitch to him here is swung on and tapped foul into the Brewster dugout, 0-1. Packard has yet to homer this season on the Cape, but did have 14 big flies this year at ECU. Even a single at this point, with Valenzuela on at second, a single into the outfield could end it for Wareham. 1 out in the pitch. Called strike, outer half, 0-2. Packard was the one that delivered the walk-off sac fly against Harwich early last week in game number 3 of the season for the Gatemen. 0-2 the count, the pitch home. Swung on and hit to the right side and threw into right field, a base hit. Valenzuela around third. The throw will not be in time, and the Gatemen win it again in the 10th. Bryant Packard has become a walk-off extraordinaire. 3-2, the final score from Spillane Field. Bryant Packard singles in Saheed Valenzuela and wins it for the Gatemen. An RBI single for Bryant Packard, and that will do it from Spillane Field. Only 3 hits on the day for the Gatemen across 10 innings, but somehow, some way, the Gatemen offense is able to come through in the 10th inning to win it for Wareham. What a game from Spillane Field. The winning pitcher will be Ryan Stoudemire for the Gatemen. The losing pitcher will be Andrew Schultz for Tennessee. No save today for either team. A thrilling game from Spillane Field. The Gatemen will be on the road tomorrow for a doubleheader against Yarmouth Dennis, playing the Red Sox out at Red Wilson Field. That one will get going at 2:30. That'll do it from Spillane Field. For everybody on the WCTV production team, I'm JD Rachi saying so long. Once again, the final score from Spillane Field. The Wareham Gatemen 3, the Brewster Whitecaps 2. The Gatemen walk it off in extras.